Hello everyone. I am Vibhanshi, and this is a podcast interview of Let Us Dream, initiated by Let Us Dream, which is a not-profit organization which is globally established for creating holistically developed communities all around the world. And today we have with us Mr. Jimmy Cherian, who is the founder and president of Creating Futures, as well as he plays a very major part in the systems and operations of Let Us Dream. I am Vibhanshi, from a host from BINC, which is BVA Newscast Committee, and we are the media partner of Let Us Dream. So we'll start. So you're here today, and we have stood on this ground before. But before we actually speak about what you've built, about conferences, vision, and everything, who is actually Jimmy Cherian in the silence? Who is he when the lights are off and the rooms are empty?
First of all, hello everybody, and it's lovely to be here. So who's Jimmy Cherian? I guess he's somebody who's searching for meaning, somebody who's striving to live a good life, somebody who love to serve people with sincerity. So that's Jimmy Cherian. Want to be somebody who genuinely cares for people and communities. Look at what can be done better and constantly look at improving, being a better version, both personally and for the work that is done. And that means being a learner all the time, being aware of the strengths, but most importantly of the limitations, being inquisitive and curious, asking questions, looking to align with my internal values, my internal faith, my internal belief system, uh, but also somebody who has and who will continue to have failures, disappointments, discouragements, and see how we can manage to overcome and be resilient no matter what the situation is. By nature, I am an introvert. I'm shy. I tend to be with myself and I love being alone. That's a little bit about me.
Okay, so that was a beautiful answer. The part where you mentioned that you will have failures in future and you will be resilient even after all of them. For me, it's very hard for me because if I am part of some failure thing and I'll be very disappointed and I'll be like, oh, I cannot do this only. But if the thinking which you're having that, okay, I will have, but still I will do it, that is very beautiful. And with I also have two questions upon your answer, what you just said. So, how are you related to Let Us Dream? And may I know what is creating futures actually?
Yeah, so I'll go with the second question that you asked. Creating
Okay.
Futures is an NGO that I have founded around 15 years back, and the NGO focuses on creating futures for the uh, youngsters,
Okay.
youngsters who need support in making a future for themselves. Uh, Over a period of time, it has evolved from youngsters, and now we focus on children and
Okay.
women
Okay.
and the elderly. Elderly meaning above 65. So what do we do? We focus on providing skills to the children, skills uh, to the youth, skills to the women. But when it comes to elders, we look at well-being, you know, to focus on their well-being, emotional, physical, and psychological well-being. So that is what Creating Futures does. Um, it's an NGO focused in Bangalore, and yeah, it's our intention is to ensure that as many people create their own futures. And then coming to your first question, how did I get involved with LUD? It was I think about 4 years back, or if not five. I'm not very sure. I was invited to be one of the speakers for Let Us Dream, and that's how my journey started with Let Us Dream.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. So now my other question is, how many years have you been in corporate actually, like this world? How
Yeah,
many
I've
years?
been an good, yeah, 24 years in the corporate world.
Okay, so 24 years in the corporate world is not a small chapter, it is almost a lifetime. So, what was the moment you felt that chapter quietly closing and something entirely new beginning, like to breathe? When did you feel that, okay, now this chapter I have to close and now I have to focus on this? How did that happen? When did that happen?
It is not a single moment, definitely not a single moment. It started much before. I knew at some point I need to go back into the social sector. But it became more clear when I started my NGO. That was in 2012. So I had given some milestones that I thought that I should quit corporate life if I achieve some of these milestones. So like I said, it was not a moment. It has been my thinking over a period of time. It has been I'm slowly absorbing it and seeing when do I need to move fully. And to be honest, it is not easy because the fear of letting go of the corporate world, the fear of letting go of all the comforts, the fear of having a wonderful office and a team and all the budgets and all the luxuries, that is a fear that I have to overcome, knowing that I will not get any of this once I quit. So it was not a single moment for sure.
Okay, and two words, creating futures. I mean, they carry a lot of weight of thousands of people. Okay, where did creating future actually come from? How did you think of it? Ki, okay, now I have to start this NGO, which I have to name as creating futures. I mean, why you chose that particular NGO, that particular name, and how much did you think it would hold one day?
It started long back. My journey of creating futures started when the tsunami hit in Tamil Nadu. So I was one of the volunteers that went to Tamil Nadu during the not during after around 2 months. I went to the area for rescue and rehabilitation work. Then I think about 5 or 6 years back, 5 or 6 years after I went the first time, again I went and visited the same place, and that's when it shocked me that when the first visit that I had, I saw a lot of money coming in, a lot of people working on the ground, helping them build schools, hospitals, houses, uh, rebuilding their lives. But the story after 4 or 5 years was completely different. No money, no organizations, and the struggle that they had was extremely sad to see. So now, how does it link to creating futures? Is that when I went the first time, I was volunteering in a school, and the second time when I went, I saw some of the youth who studied in the school, and it was English medium school, right? Studying in the school, they were not able to get jobs. They went back into fishing again. I'm not saying fishing is bad, but with fishing is extremely tough to be in the sea for 5 6 days and more. So the level of alcoholism or drug use has been high, and these youngsters were really struggling to make a future for themselves. And that's when I said, we need to do something. Now there's enough organizations that will help the students be in school. Now what is it that we can do to help them bridge the gap between school and a corporate life, or school and a job? What is it that we can do to help them create a future for themselves? And that's why the name Creating Futures came, and the intent and purpose that we need to do something so that youngsters can get a job. And I soon realized, I think in 2010, I realized that the gap is skilling. If I can skill, or if I can be a platform, if I can give a platform where they can get skilled, I'm sure they will. they will get a job. And that's my thinking, give a fish and the man will not go hungry for the day. Teach him to fish and then you will never go hungry. The intention is to help them uh, build their own future.
Amazing.
So that,
Amazing. While I was actually before this interview, I was going through your LinkedIn account, and in that bio, you mentioned about how you're carving that diamond. Everyone has a diamond in them. You just have to carve it. And now, when you're answering this question, I just asked you about how these students were going back to fishing, and when you answer, you just have to bridge the gap. I really that one paragraph entirely came in front of my mind. Okay, this is what he meant in his LinkedIn profile bio. That okay, diamond. You have
and good that you said that. And if you see our logo, the Creating Futures logo, the logo has the diamond and a finger picking the diamond, and that is because when the logo was designed, I told the designer saying the same thing, that everybody, each one of us, you, me, and everybody in the world, each one of us have a diamond inside. Our job is to help each other find each other's diamond and then polish it and then imagine how precious we can be, and the power that we have. And that's the catalyst role that we play, but the diamond is within you. And that's why Creating Futures is, so that each one of us can find a diamond within.
beautiful. This is something I'll always keep in my mind for sure that even I'm having a diamond in me, I just have to carve it better. Okay. So my next question is regarding LUD. You worked 4 years back as a speaker in this conference, and 4 years later, you're part of LUD. How does a journey like that happen, and does it ever like stop surprising you? Like from a speaker, now you're part of LUD. What changed? What is going on? Everything I would love to know.
Yeah. What has changed? Yes, it's been 4 or 5 years since I've been part of LUD. Uh, and during this time, there were multiple roles that I played. Like you said, a speaker, a participant. I was his chair. I was part of the committee. I was a trainer. I was a coach. So, with each role that you play, your clarity on what the vision is, your ability to resonate with what needs to be done becomes much more clearer. So then you adapt yourself to what is required. That is number one. But more important is that you fall in love with the idea of Let Us Dream. Um, Let Us Dream as an organization is looking at empowering communities. uh, very few people think about empowering communities. You think of empowering individuals, you think of empowering basically an organization, but here we're looking at empowering communities. uh, the ability to empower communities lies in people who are willing to empower them, and that's the philosophy of Let Us Dream, which I fell in love with. No, it's not the community that Let Us Dream is focusing on. It is focusing on people like you and me, how we can play a role in building communities, and that really is the change that I saw, and change I saw in myself.
So, from a speaker to now building up a stage for people who are going to for empowering the communities. That is very true. I've never heard. Okay, empowering individuals, yes. Empowering people, yes, but never empowering communities. And we should most definitely focus on that. Up next is every original story is having a wound at its center. A moment of pain that becomes a moment of a moment of pain that becomes a moment of purpose. A wound, something which might have affected what you are right now, what happened. I want to know yours. If there is a moment of pain that became a moment of purpose in your story.
um, I strongly believe it's not one. None of them is one. It's a small things that over a period of time makes it big.
Okay.
uh, so it's not one moment of purpose. It has been multiple things, and yes, my life, my circumstances, my experiences, my situations has shaped me into what I am. So yeah, so I don't think it is one purpose, and it cannot be for one, as far as I know. But the fact that we have individuals who have given their whole life for the betterment of others, that is something which truly inspired me. There were situations when I did not have uh, very many things, and I was extremely fascinated and amazed that some individuals would go to various extent to help me, be it physically, be it monetarily, be it emotionally, be it psychologically, uh, be it just being a listener. The fact that humanity still exists, that really inspired me. We are all in this race to make money, race to, to be powerful, race to have fame. But in in midst of all of this, there are some individuals who genuinely care for this, and that's my inspiration. So it is a mix of who I am, but more so the inspiration from others who have done, just being a normal person without any expectations in return, do things, and that to me is what the reason is.
So the person who you are and the people you surround yourself with really played a very huge role in this. Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So now this year's theme is what is where it all began. For you personally, where did all of it begin? Like, was it a place, a moment, a person, or something you still find difficult to name?
Where it all began for me, you're
Yeah.
talking about, or for
Yes. For you. For you.
yeah. I think it was, where it all began was an event that happened in my life around 30 years back, uh, which almost cost my life. So,
I would
so
really
that is the
like to hear this.
yeah. So
What is this about?
yeah, so that is the beginning, and I can summarize it perhaps without being too dramatic. Is that there was an attempted murder on me, and I survived the murder. And perhaps that is one single event which probably would have changed my outlook, my thinking, my value system, my perspective has changed after that.
That is. I'm very happy you overcame with it in such a beautiful way, in such a revolutionizing way, in fact. So that was beautiful. And I mean, I'm not someone to say this, but like really proud of what everything you've done after all this, after that point, because I know that is hard. But okay. So my next question to you will be for, yeah. So it's with Father Lijo. Okay, so some visions are too large for one person and one person to carry. You and Father Lijo seem to have shared something that goes beyond programs and conferences. How would you describe it? Like what you both have built together, like, and what you both are building quietly together, in fact.
Yep, you must be. And other day, I was thinking about it, and actually, and surprisingly, even to me, Father Lijo and me, we don't spend much time together.
Oh,
Um, yeah, but but even though we don't spend much time together, there is deep down there is tremendous connection between us. I don't have to talk to him to be connected with him. I don't know if you can feel that. Even without speaking to Father Lijo, I know that there is a deep connection. It is the value system that we have. It is the vision that we have. Uh, the purpose, the ideas, the ethos. Uh, these are what connects us. So even if you don't talk, I'm still able to connect with him and understand him and feel him. Uh, plus obviously the respect. So yeah, so it is much beyond the programs, like you said. and it cannot be one person. But the fact that these purposes and ideas and values and ethos are getting translated to me and hopefully to others, uh, that itself is a vision that has been spread far and beyond, and many are able to follow that. So I have been a follower, and I hope many will be a follower as well.
I do definitely see the similarity you mentioned, that there's this quite connection. Because when I'm speaking to you, and at times when I've spoken to Father Liju, I see that like when I'm crossing, like we're crossing paths, and he see me being part of this social action community or something, and he's like, "Are you a part of this also?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "Vibhanshi, let's do one thing. Can you make sure that people who are not part of things like this, who are not part of any committee, can you make sure that they are also part of it? Make everyone part of things." And that is how I connected both of your answers. And I do, and I probably am not getting the connection how you want to explain it, but I do definitely get the part where you're not talking much, but there's this emotional lining and thinking between the two of you, which obviously has made LUD where it is today and much more bigger. And my next question to you is, in the 2026 conference, which unfolds of 3 days, which included education, health, and social impact, each one a world of its own, obviously. So, which of these three resonates most deeply with the work you do, which is like the most closest to your heart? So, either education, health, social impact, what is the most closest to your heart, which resonates your work the most?
And that's like asking a mother to choose best your favorite child. To be honest, again, I don't have an answer.
Okay.
Why I don't have an answer is because my NGO focuses on skill development, which is education.
Okay.
But I do a lot of work in the rural communities,
Ah,
and my my work right now focuses on rural development, and that is the third one, social. But I also work a lot with health, disability, tuberculosis, HIV, HIV and AIDS, intellectual and physical disability. So the fact that I am involved in all of this three, it becomes extremely difficult for me to choose. And yeah, but I guess um, if there's a possibility, we should choose more themes. But it's just three. But I love all the three.
I understand why there is no favorism involved. Okay, completely valid. Now, my next question to you is, LUD believes that growth happens best when generations learn from each other. Young mentees, college mentors, senior community, guides all in one same room. Why do you think that that kind of intergenerational connection carries something that no single generation can create alone?
Why? Because first of all, let me before that I'll set the context. We come into the world with nothing, and we leave the world with nothing, right?
True.
And therefore, there is this responsibility that each one of us have to pass on what we have to the next generation. So basically, passing the baton. Important, extremely important to pass the baton. That's number one. So the intergenerational aspect of Let Us Dream to me is amazing because I strongly believe in succession and in passing the baton, in building the next level leadership. So intergenerational is amazing because you are by default implementing the value of inclusion, implementing the value of diversity, implementing the value of respecting even the young minds and acknowledging that the young minds, they really have something to offer. So that's the other aspect. But more often also is that, are we, for example, am I willing to learn from you? And very often, in my experience with Let Us Dream, I have learned from the younger people than what I've given. That's what I feel. The energy, the vibe, the new nomenclature that you guys have, the way you function, the ideas that you have, the innovation that you have, is something new, and it's important to integrate that into our life, and to be relevant, number one. But like I said, most important is to pass on the baton, and to make this world much more dependable with the younger generation.
Okay, okay, beautiful. That is very true. What I learned from intergenerational wise is people who speak when they like people who are having experience when they talk to me, and sometimes they also change my view, and they change my view in a very beautiful way where I believe, oh, all this time when I was hearing to this single generation I was going on, that is also right. But the highlights that older people or people young, even people younger than me add to it, it's very beautiful. I understood what you said.
Different perspectives, different
True.
views, different ways of doing things, different approaches, and that's what intergenerational brings in.
True. And my next question is, builder of something meaningful has always faced, there's this point they faced where everything is cracking. Like, you know that the foundation might is cracking or might crack in future. What kept your vision louder than the doubt of those days? Of the days where you're having doubt whether will it be successful, will it go to the level I wanted to reach? How did you overcome those doubts through your vision?
Yeah, and I'll take the analogy of a tree. A
Okay.
tree is stronger with the roots. The deeper the roots are, the stronger the tree. Roots are not something what you see, uh, but the trunk, the branches, the leaves, the fruits are something that you see. So, taking that analogy, if I can build my tree, my personal tree, on my value system, the right value system, on my belief system, on my learnings from my failures and my successes, on my faith that I have. And if I can build it in that strong foundation, then I can weather any storm. So to me, it is the roots that play a major role. And I think when you asked to introduce yourself, I said one of my aspect is to try and live my value system. You may have a value system, but to live your value system is extremely difficult. So one is to build your value system, to be aware what your value system is, and second is to make it stronger and then live it. And when you do this, and then you can weather any storm. And then no matter what happens, there might be cracks. Foundation might seem to be weak, but your purpose, your belief, your faith, your values is what will ensure that it stays.
So, faith, values, and how much do you believe in yourself works. I will keep that in mind, most definitely. And now to my second last question, in fact, because it will be 40 minutes and that is what we. But my second question would be, the world is, we both know that the world is not short of organizations, not profit organization, NGOs, and everything. But wanting and doing are very different things, right? What is it about LUD that moves through the world and that sets it apart from everything everyone else is trying to do? How is it unique in its own sense? That is my question.
The unique aspect of Let Us Dream is that it is participative. It is joint responsibility, and it says that, and you talked about intergenerational earlier. Uniqueness of Let Us Dream is that it is not I. There's no I. It's we. Can we do it? Can we try? Can we explore? Can we help one another? Can I support you? Can you support me? Um, and then it's up to us. It's up to you. It's up to me. How much do I need to take? So the freedom to take up the leadership, the freedom to take initiatives, the freedom to bring around people with the same thinking and value system, and and doing it is what is different. But like you said,
Okay.
doing and doing,
Wanting.
I mean, wanting and doing is a huge gap. So, and honestly, that has been our challenge at Let Us Dream. We have many who are happy to be part of Let Us Dream, who have the freedom to do what it is, who are who feel included and be part of it. That's a desire. But translating that into daily action is where it has been a big challenge for all of us. And that's my thinking about your previous question. What makes a stand is that if individuals have deep enough roots, then it can translate into action. We are not here for fame or money or power. And when you do not have anything, when you have only to look at empowering others, the motivation goes off. It's the discipline that has to take over. Motivation is temporary, discipline is permanent. So the challenge that we have is, yes, people come in, they're motivated extrinsically or intrinsically, but that's for a short period of time. Now the question is, and I've been thinking about it and I've been asking myself and many others, what can we do to convert that into a discipline where we give in no matter what the situation is? And that's a learning process for us, and that's something which we want to work on.
Okay. So through this question, there's this question that arose in my mind. For years, you've been working in LUD. This happens with me. That is why I'm trying to connect. Is there something of LUD's perspective that has probably changed your mind? Any changes, or is that perspective deepened anything, or surprised you? What actually LUD is trying to go for? Some anything like that, or is it the same point of view you are having 4 years back to up till now? There's no change in it.
No, no, there is absolutely a lot of changes. You become much more clear. Your clarity much more over the years, and when clarity comes, then there is much more change happening. But what I've learned, um, and it has been difficult, I must say, is that LUD is a process,
Okay.
right? And then over the years, I keep telling you, trust the process.
Trust the
The
process.
process will take over, and then you trust the process, it will work. Now the question is, how strong is your trust? Because if you trust the process, and if the process is not kicking over and not taking over, then you tend to look at is my trust okay, or is it working? So patience,
Patience.
you perseverance,
Yes.
um, extremely so you need to be extremely perseverant.
Yes.
um, Consensus is something which is intertwined in the Let Us Dreams ethos. So working with consensus has been
Working
tremendously
with
challenging, but rewarding as well.
two.
uh, and then participative,
So we
where
are
you are
having three
not.
P's here: participative, perseverance, patience, and working with consensus.
Yeah, and trusting, that's very important.
Okay, and
Trusting the
trusting,
process.
not forgetting it, trusting the process. To my last question, as the meeting is about to end for 2 minutes, whatever is left, it's very important. I've always wanted to ask this question to people who are actually making a change. Long after the conferences end and the programs have run their courses, the conferences are over, what is the one thing you hope remains, like that one thing you hope remains, not in records, not in reports, but in hearts of the people whose lives this work has touched? So not in reports, not in the records, what do you think is something that should remain in the people whose life has touched, whatever your your thoughts are, what you are trying to do, what should remain in them, in their hearts?
and I'm thinking I'm repeating this, but I'm hoping that there is a shift from motivation to discipline.
Okay.
That's my one thing that I and that's what is, wanting desire to action. So during the conference there is a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation. You feel uplifted. That's the strict motivation that you get. But time and over we've seen that the motivation dies after 2 months,
True.
right?
I've seen it.
So one thing that if you ask me is that, I'm hoping, beyond hope, that no matter how much motivation that we're able to derive from the conferences, if at least 10 percentage to 20 percentage of them is able to continue with the concept of let us dream and make it into actionable items, that's one aspect that I would love to have.
Okay, I really loved that answer because that is something even I believe I should have in me. Because there are times when I've tried something new and I lose the motivation. I'm like, oh, this is not meant for me. But instead, I should be consistent. Okay, valid. Okay, sir, it was beautiful. Genuinely from my heart, I felt that this conversation we had made me learn so much, and I hope everyone else who is watching this also learns it. So it was beautiful having this chat with you, this podcast with you. Thank you, Let Us Dream as well, and to Pink for this thing that I got. I feel like this is a golden opportunity for me. So thank you so much, sir. And yeah, we will wrap this up today. I hope you had a great time as well.
Thank you. All the very best.
Okay, okay. Take care, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.